How's it going, guys? I'm here to review A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, 1987. Dream Warriors is a direct sequel to the original film, and it kind of ignores the events that happened in the last movie. Freddy Krueger's going back to his old ways, not possessing people or trying to make people to do stuff. He's actually going into teenagers' dreams and killing them off one by one, as he should be, because that's what Freddy Krueger is known for. So he's going back to its old roots, and you have a new main character named Tristan, played by Patricia Arquette. And in this movie, they bring back Scream Queen Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson. Yes, the same Nancy Thompson from the original movie. She's back in this movie as well. And yes, Wes Craven's back to be involved in this movie, but unfortunately, he still didn't direct this movie, but he helped write the script for this movie, and I think he produced this movie too as well. But either way, he's back involved in this little franchise. So not just Tristan, but you have other kids in the psychiatric ward. These are the same kids that pretty much had nightmares of Freddy Krueger, but of course the parents doesn't believe them. They think they're crazy, so of course they sent the kids off to the psychiatric ward, and they're pretty much the last children of Elm Street. So this is when Nancy comes in, as these teenagers are experiencing Freddy Krueger's like reign of terror. Nancy comes in the teenagers' dreams and teaches them that they can dream of something useful, dream of something like positive, beautiful, so that way they can defeat Freddy Krueger. They can use their own dream powers against Freddy Krueger, pretty much. Whatever they can think of, whatever that makes them happy or feels invincible, they can use that strategy or that tactic against Freddy Krueger in their dreams, because technically it's their dream. When they band together, that's why they are called the Dream Warriors. That's what the movie's called. And the Dream Warriors band together to try to stop Freddy Krueger and his reign of terror once and for all. So that's pretty much the simplest plot I can give for Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And forgot to mention, Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie too as well. Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix. Yes, he's in this movie as well, which is really cool. So what did I think of this movie? This movie is actually, in my opinion, this is the best sequel in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, hands down. It has a perfect balance of actually scary horror and comedy. I think this is the first movie that kind of introduced the funny side of Freddy Krueger, but not too funny, because like I said, there was a perfect balance between horror and comedy. And this movie is the perfect example to do that, other than the Evil Dead movies. So yeah, this movie has some funny moments, and this movie has some genuinely creepy, disturbing moments. And as I think after this movie, that's where the franchise goes a little downhill, where it gets more comedic and more funny and funny. But this movie was the one that kind of started to put some more comedy tone in this movie, while balancing the horror aspect in this movie as well. Freddy Krueger is still evil, maniacal, the twisted devil in this movie, but yet he cracks one-liner jokes before he kills you. So this is the movie where he became a little bit more funny, and this is the movie where you can tell that Freddy Krueger actually enjoys, loves what he's doing, killing these kids, and he's just cracking one-liner jokes at you. He enjoys the job of killing children. So you can tell that Robert Englund, that's playing Freddy Krueger, he's having a hell of a time just playing this character, this role. Just a fun time. The special effects in this movie is one of the best that I've seen in any horror 80s slasher movies. A lot of 80s horror movies have the best special effects, the best practical effects, but this movie, it does have dude, it has everything. It has gore, it has puppeteering, it has a stop motion clay. I think you can say a little green screen here and there. But this movie does have a lot of out there special effects. It's really cool, especially how of each kid, they have their own type of dream power. There's one kid that I forgot his name, but he looks like Harry Potter in a way, and he's considered himself the Wizard Master. And when he shoots out green power balls or lasers at Freddy, the shit looks amazing. It looks cool, especially for an 80s horror film. And the acting in this movie is really good. It's not bad. It's not good, because it's an 80s slasher movie, but that's the pure joy of it. I don't know, it's not Oscar-winning acting, but at the same time, it still has a charm to it, because most of these 80s movies always have cheesy acting, but that's what gives it a charm, and that's what makes it better. And this movie, in my opinion, is one of those examples. The characters are well written. The soundtrack is fire. The special effects is great. The plot is good. The acting is good. Like, I don't know, like everything about this movie is pretty damn good. But in my opinion, it's still not as good as the original one. Nothing can ever beat Wes Craven's original Nightmare, because that one's always going to be the most darkest, most sinister, and like disturbing Nightmare on Elm Street movie like to date. Like the original one is that scary. It's like one of the best horror movies of all time. But this one, it's really not a bad sequel. It's a pretty good follow-up to the original movie. And it's probably my favorite sequel, and it's the best sequel to the original movie. Like I said, this movie is such a huge upgrade to the last movie, because the last movie was such a downgrade. This movie just has everything. It has stop motion, has good special effects and gore. Freddy Krueger has good one-liners. The characters are good. They're interesting. It's well written. It has a perfect balance of horror and comedy. I don't know what else I can say about this movie. This movie is just a pretty good sequel. And it does go deep. It kind of gives you hints of Freddy Krueger's origins a little bit more, and they show you Freddy Krueger's mom, which is like a nun. But they'll go deeper into that in the 5th and the 6th movie. But they give you hints in this movie, which is really cool. So overall, I kind of like this movie. I think this is the movie where it kind of inspired movies like The New Mutants, or like just any type of horror movie that has a band of people that has powers to like fight against off evil, especially a group of teenagers that have powers to fight evil. I think this is the movie that kind of like inspired those type of other movies. Like this is the one right here. So if I had to give this movie out of 10, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I actually enjoy this sequel. I love it. So yeah. So that was my quick review of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, 1987. Please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Freddy's just around the corner.